Yeah, welcome, man. Welcome to the long-term podcast.
Thank you. This is my first time.
Fourth time.
First time.
Gotta show you this, man. I found this guy at the gym.
What is it?
The spider. His name's Max.
You found it at the gym?
Yeah, dude. I was walking past the turf area around there up front, and it was just
Is it
right in the
alive?
middle. Yeah, it's alive. I've been feeding it mosquitoes and flies. And my sister, dude, she's she's so angry that I'm putting him in this little box, but he can breathe. I open it every 12 hours.
Why don't you get like a jar or something?
It's nice to I play with him sometimes. You know, he gets in my arm and
Where
stuff.
did you get a wasp from?
I was with my sales job, door knocking. There was a dead wasp right in the side, so
I didn't know you started that.
I did, but I quit.
You did, but you've been what?
I did it for 2 weeks and I quit.
I didn't know you started it 2 weeks ago. I thought you.
Yeah, no.
But you've been prepping this for months.
Yeah, I know.
What happened,
dude? It was I came into it really overconfident, and I didn't really think of the times, like 1 to 9 p.m. and I didn't take into account like the fatigue that I'd feel in the drive there.
Yeah, you were going till 9 p.m. That's late.
Dude. And I was okay with talking to people, but it did get to me. Like a lot of people who told me to, screw off, get off their porch, or would just look at me and
were mean to you.
Yeah, they were. And the guys there though were really hard as shit. That's the mentality they got, is they don't care. And the guys that sell a lot, like Bryce Bowen, he makes so much, and I believe it, man. I believe from what he's told me last year, right? Now I saw it in person, just how many sales he was doing. Full commission. Each sale's like 250. And Buddy was doing 5 a day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Door to door in Sherwood Park. And I was doing, I was still new, so I didn't really have a grasp of
How often were you getting a sale?
Once every 2 days.
Okay.
But I was still starting out, and it really got to me, but I weighed out the pros and cons. Okay, I won't be able to go and do my podcast as much. That was a big kind of con. Won't be able to run, and I love running in the summer.
Just run from door to door.
I could do that, but I like it when cars can see me, free PR.
With your shirt off, and then they honk at you. And,
and
swear at you.
Dude, that actually happened, man.
I know, you mentioned that.
I don't know why. People just stick their finger up at me.
I don't know, dude. That seems...
It really hurts my feelings, but but hey, we stay hard, hey? But
so if you see him running, make sure to swear and stick your finger
flip
at
me off.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, it was just mentally tough, grueling hours, because I'd drive there from
So were you doing it in the city or in the park?
In the park.
Okay.
But eventually it was leading up to the city. And you know how I value my workouts too. And I was only getting an hour after work to work out. I could have gone before, but I would have had to sacrifice sleep. All the habits, I wanted to read, and it's all just excuses, but I'm going to follow what makes me me. And I think no amount of money is going to make me sacrifice me.
No, I understand. I mean, that's a really I knew that you could be good at it, but I also knew that when you were telling me about it, that was going to be a tough gig.
It is tough.
That's not a normal job, that there's no base pay. It's just all commission. That's grinding.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a sales rep position where you have people that and you go back to clients already at an established company. That's cold approaching is crazy, and especially doing it nonstop every day.
Yeah, man. There was this guy that
I would have quit after 2 weeks doing that too.
Yeah, no, I think you would have been fine. I think so the biggest thing for me was I really crave the gym connections. I really value the time spent with family and friends. I would have kept going if it was 6 to 2. But
really, the hours was the big thing.
Yeah, the hours. 1 to 9, dude. That's everything. And then we work Saturdays as well.
It was 6 days a week?
Yeah. The Saturdays weren't as long, but I don't know.
Still, that's a long day.
But I love the
Or a long
culture
week.
though, man. The guys there were like really, really mentally tough. Like they were hard as shit.
Well, because they've been rejected 10,000 times.
Yeah, yeah. And they can just stomach anything. And the confidence, dude, was here. Like the way they spoke, the way they went about certain things, like the mindset. It was something I've never experienced before. And if it was like 4 years back, I think I would have stayed. I would have loved the culture if I didn't have the pod, if I didn't start running. But right now I just have so many things that like money's the last thing, that I want. Like, yes, I want money, but at the same time, I gotta weigh out the pros and cons. I don't know.
Well, yeah, ultimately money is just a venue to get what you want rather than like
Yeah.
what you want itself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're having to sacrifice the things that are more important to you for money that isn't like an immediate necessity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you want to be rich one day? Like millionaire status?
I think it'd be pretty cool. I don't know if that will happen, but
I think it would. You're pretty good with your money.
I guess it's also like it depends. I mean, like, sure, being a millionaire isn't like the at some point in your lifetime isn't loftiest. Like by the time you retire, I feel like it's not the craziest goal to have like over $1 million net worth, but I don't know. I'd like to live comfortably and do my job and have the other things that I like, and then sure have some money to do some stuff with. But I don't know if I need to be like super rich. What
It'd
about
be nice
you?
though.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, it'd be nice.
Me, yeah, I want to be super rich one day, man. I mean, like, why do you think I'm doing the pod?
That's the only reason.
So, I'm trying to get rich, trying to get eyeballs
With the PJs.
Yeah, dude.
Are you gonna leave all your day ones when you get rich?
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna just give all you guys
Just
money.
bomb Sherwood Park.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know it'd be cool. It'd be cool one day to have this side gig that I have, this pod, like pop off and get
Have
a
its
ton
own-
of viewers
yeah,
on
And
YouTube.
have its own like revenue and stuff.
Yeah. But at the same time though, I just really enjoy just the one-on-one. I feel like you get to know someone so much more by just like sitting down with them like for an hour.
Mhm.
Like nobody ever schedules that, like when you hang out with with a buddy, like you don't
No.
go, hey, we're gonna sit down and talk for an hour. It's usually an activity.
Sometimes people do that with like over coffee or over having like a beer or dinner. I would argue that that's somewhat similar. I mean, sure, there's like a little bit of an activity involved, but it's mainly talking.
Yeah. You don't frame it as like, hey, let's sit down and
that
talk.
is true. You don't. That is true.
Yeah.
That would be a weird thing to present.
Like, hey, do you want to just sit down and talk? Like, it just, that sounds so
you want
serious.
to come into my bedroom and just talk with me for 90 minutes?
Pretty much. This is my bedroom.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of viewers out there, they just think this is a studio. No, I sleep here, guys.
You
I'm
sleep
committed.
in that chair. Don't change it.
No, I read on this chair, then I sleep on the side. But actually, maybe I'll try sleeping in this
Just
chair.
upright.
That'd be really
with the mic in your
uncomfortable.
face.
Dude, the quality of sleep maybe just like through the window off that.
What? Do you think some people can sleep sitting up? Like get a really good, like get an actual good sleep sitting up?
I've only ever seen it in movies or like people really drunk. But
I think at most I maybe slept like 3 hours sitting up.
maybe when you're like adapted to it, like as a baby, that's all you've been doing. But if you took a random person that just was used to sleeping on their backs, it would take years for them to adapt. Even then, they like with all the responsibilities that they'd have, they would suffer in all facets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Sleep, man, it's like the foundation to mental and physical health. I'd say, like without it,
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Everything just like gets thrown off. And like I went through so many years in like high school, middle school, not getting sleep, bro.
Playing League.
Yeah, dude, I'd be up to like 2 a.m., man. And then I just wouldn't show up. And then I'd extend the exam and just still, I'd go one more game. And then I can't end off on a win.
Well,
I think it's a win
I
streak.
remember you and Bryce talking about like just some nights staying up all night playing.
Yeah, we'd both have an exam the next day. It'd be like he'd have like a chem test, was it? I had like a physics test or vice versa. I forget. This is like 6-7 years ago, and I'd message him, "Hey, game? No question mark?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." It'd be like 7 p.m. and I'd tell him, "Hey, Bryce, just I just got to play one game, okay? I got to study for this test." And he'd be like, "Yeah, same, bro." Next thing you know, man, it's 4 a.m. We haven't lost yet, and we told ourselves, "Hey, we'd
You guys
stop."
must have ranked up like crazy.
Yeah, we will stop when we lose, but we never lost. It's 6 a.m., man. And I was,
So would you go write the test? Or
no, we just skipped. I don't know, man. I know you were always on top of your stuff, right? You never let video games take a hold of you.
No, I mean I would procrastinate studying, but I don't think it was like because of video games. It was kind of just something else. Like it was just I don't know, it was just like not being able to like study really the day before an exam. So there were a few times where I'd start studying at like 11 p.m. and then I'd just stay up all night in high school studying for a test, or like because in high school you'd have a lot of tests on the same days, which was really annoying.
Yeah.
So each one would take like 3 hours of studying. So you'd be up to like 5 a.m. studying.
But you always prioritize that. Like as a
Yeah. I guess I always knew it in the back of my mind. It wasn't like I was like distracted doing something else. It was just like an internal procrastination if I wasn't doing it. And then I would be like, oh shit, now I have to actually do this.
Yeah. I think for me, I just couldn't, like, that's why I cold turkey quit all video games, because I can't balance it. And I think it just saps so much dopamine for me. Like maybe I enjoy it so much, or maybe I don't know what it is, but all other metrics in my life suffer. All other like areas. Like when I get really into it, it just like my workouts suck. The interactions I have with people, they're not as vibrant. When I do study, I retain less information. My sleep quality is worse. I don't know. It just like
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a lot of effects.
Yeah. And I've noticed that. I've done a lot of reflection onto video games, and I was ranking up, but
Well, that's what's most important anyways. Over all
Yeah.
those other things.
Yeah. What do you game in these days?
I haven't been playing too much, just like some Rainbow Six Siege or just some like random games with the friends like COD Zombies or whatever. But I don't know. I don't have that same effect with video games really. Like it doesn't really like affect negatively the rest of my life, and I don't really like overplay it to the point where it's like affecting other things.
I think you just have like a higher dopamine like threshold, or you have more dopamine in your system, because maybe
Than
I just
you?
have I see that with people who can do more things like all the time. Like for me, I need like constant reflection. I need like my 9 hours of sleep, and I get fatigued easily. I don't know.
I mean, I also get tired fairly easily. I guess maybe it's not like tired from something. It's sometimes I'm just generally somewhat tired, but yeah, I guess I can do a few things in a day. It's like planned out and stuff.
Yeah, because I went to Bryce Bowen's lake. This is 2 years back.
Yeah.
And I got to witness his habits, because he's kind of also the same, where he can do so many things. Like he'll be on TikTok for like an hour, and then he can play video games after. Then he'll do volleyball. Then he can still study for his tests and do all these things. And then on top of that, go on more TikTok and like still be highly functional, right? Like with his schedule, I got to witness, or just how different he was when it came to just like energy levels.
So like you do an hour of TikTok and then you need to go like take a nap or something.
Yeah, like, or like I wouldn't be able to talk to people as efficiently, or like I'd feel drained.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird, but that's a realization I've had in the recent years, which I'm thankful for, because I always think, oh, what if I just didn't realize these things? Be in a very bad place, which I'm very, very thankful for.
Yeah, it's definitely good to understand like how you tick.
Yeah. Do you have any big revelations like that?
Not really at the like self revelations. I wouldn't say like really at the moment like that. I don't
No.
think so.
Well, it's little iterations, right? I'm sure like maybe you didn't realize it the one day, but there's like certain things that you changed or cut back on or did more of.
I guess nothing too crazy. Just like I don't know, just trying to improve basic habits. I guess you were always talking about how habits are so important, and I definitely see what you mean by that, because once you have the habit, you can repeat it a lot more easily, especially if it's a good habit. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. I know and you mentioned back months ago, like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. And he said that like after like you got a job, then it was all to like self-actualization or something like that. I don't know. I forget how the levels
I think
go.
I think it's like basic necessities like food and like clothing and stuff, and then I think it's security, like protection and just like making sure you're safe and like not, and that doesn't mean like also physically, but I think that can like refer to your like job and stuff, like your apartment is safe, your house is safe, you're like and then I think it's love or like connection is the next one, and then I think it's self-actualization.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's really like the basis that I don't know, that's the basis for like life for everyone. For me, I think that's how I can see that really play in my own life, how I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I'm at the love part right now.
Yeah, no, seriously, because you have your like clothes and your food, and then you have like your safe financially and you're like physically and stuff, and now I think that's probably where most people are.
Yeah. Yeah. This that girl I was telling you about, like Juan's cousin, just rejected me, man.
What?
I finally did it.
That is
She was on the Stairmaster, and I went off to the side. I'm like, I knew for the eye contact, I knew that it was gonna be like a slim chance, but I would have never known.
What happened to like 6 months ago?
I don't
like
know.
4 months ago.
I guess she was interested, it seemed 4 months ago, but I guess something changed. I don't know. But then I just wanted to double check.
What did you say?
So I go up to her. She's on the stairs. She's reading her book. Like if she probably watched this, she'd probably she'd know what like I'm talking about her, but it's all right. She looks over and I'm like on the side, the railings, because she's on the farthest Stairmaster.
So are you on another Stairmaster
No.
or you're off the Stairmaster?
I'm off the Stairmaster,
Okay.
just to the side. There's no other Stairmasters.
Okay,
like
I know where you're talking about. Yes.
Some bikes on the side.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, you're reading books, hey, on the Stairmaster? She's like, it makes time go by faster. And then we start talking about the Hunger Games, because apparently it's like the new book.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently it's Fireman. And then I input some of my Hunger Games knowledge. I'm like,
Katniss lore.
Yeah. Volunteers tribute. Like, yo, what happened to that third book? And she's like, yeah, I think Snow died. Sorry, spoilers.
Well,
and then
how could you say that?
Yeah. There's somebody reading the Hunger Games right now. Like,
that'd be funny.
Yeah. So then I'm like, yeah, you don't happen to have a boyfriend, hey? And then she's like, no, no boyfriend. Hey, we should go out sometime.
Yeah.
I'm actually, yeah. She like looks at me a bit and like, is this guy serious? Like, I'm actually not looking for anything right now. And I just went, okay. And then we started, I stared off for a little bit. I'm like, okay, sure. Nope, no worries. And then started talking about Hunger Games some more, about the workout. And then that's it.
Well, I commend you for like making it less awkward by like small talking afterwards.
Yeah. But then, that's always with me. I'm not going to destroy the friendship. I'm still
that's admirable. Yeah.
I'm still going to try to make convos here and there, because we're planting seeds here, and
planting seeds.
Yeah. Like, who knows if it'll grow, if it won't, what I call
Water
it.
it.
For water. She waters it. But yeah, dude. But you know what? I wasn't hurt, you know? Like sure I was, but not to the extent that I usually do, which kind of built that tolerance. Goes back to that door-to-door stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure that helped, honestly, in that scenario.
Yeah. And this podcast too, man. Like presenting my idea.
For when you ask people out on the podcast and they say,
hey, can you? Yeah, dude, there's some very good looking podcast guests, but I do keep it professional here. Like Adri. Yeah. Off camera, I'm going to ask this guy. No, actually, Adri, do you want to?
He already has, actually, before this episode.
4 times. Including the one before.
Each episode.
Yeah, each episode. Yeah, dude. Could you imagine? I'm just like, I'm risen up the podcast guest. She'd be like, what is this?
I think your people willing to go on the podcast would drop dramatically if you started doing that.
They just leave. That's why I keep the chair close to the door.
That's a good idea.
Because if you, I don't know, it's just, I never really read anything about it, but like if you're in this corner here, it's like you're getting locked in.
100%.
Versus there near the door, you can run. If I'm getting, you know, like killer thoughts, you know, then you can just run away. You know? Try to keep it friendly too, you know? Dude, wait, did I tell you about what Jeff did on one of the episodes with Chelsea?
No.
Well, okay, one of the guests, Chelsea, I was at the Red Deer Marathon with Jeff.
Yeah.
And I was planning out. This is a year ago. And
was this before you had her on or after?
This is before I had her on.
Okay.
So I DM'd her. I'm like, hey, Chelsea, do you want to come on the pod?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah, sure. And then, you know, the whole ordeal of planning the questions, passions, introduction, all this, planning it out. And I usually make a Google Doc, as you know, and then put all the questions there. And I had Jeff help me on the questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's all that. You know, he helped me, and I'd gone to the washroom, so he helped me with some of the questions while I was gone. And then I sent her the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I read off the questions as the guest is there. And I'm scrolling, and halfway through the podcast, I look over, and one of the questions was, do you like me? Dude. And I was just like, what the actual? And I apologized on the pod. I'm sure you'll see it. And it wouldn't make sense if like you just saw it and like, why is Advin apologizing? And I said Jeff, but here she was thinking before, like, is Advin serious? Like, but she still won on the pod though. Like,
yeah, maybe in that situation, if there weren't any other questions around it, maybe she thought just as in like a, do you like me as a person?
No, it was just weird.
It is weird. It is weird that.
Yeah, it was
unfortunate that you didn't catch that Jeff wrote that.
Yeah. So I was ticked off for a little bit, and like, oh gosh. And I messaged him, I was like, oh gosh, dude, I totally forgot to tell you. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, dude. But that was a big what the, yeah.
Well, she still came on.
Still came on, yeah, and it was still a good episode. She's doing well.
That's good. That's good.
But yeah, dude. This guy actually, we were planning on doing an episode on Sunday, and he shows up, and 5 minutes in, he gets called in for work.
I did. I apologize. I was on call that day, and I didn't expect to be called in because I usually am not, but it was really perfectly horrible timing because it was like within 60 seconds of sitting down in the chair.
Wasted my time, my valuable time on a Sunday. No, it's fine, man. It's fine. No, I did a lot of reflection after. I'm like, okay, I'm a good friend, right? But at the same time, I got boundaries.
I knew you were going to be not happy with that. I felt bad driving to work.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm going to hold it against you, you know?
Okay. Well,
I've never been a grudge holder.
I know that.
And like, I'm always willing to empathize. Yeah. Just for next time.
I understand. I will not do a podcast on the day that I have to get.
That's funny.
I'm on call.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And also, congratulations on the getting accepted to law, bro.
Oh, thank you, dude. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
exciting. I'm excited.
I know prior to this, you didn't really want to talk about law because like you don't want to
Well, I
be
didn't want
like
to
a
be like
talker.
fronting. I
Yeah.
don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to do this, but it's like just like
Mhm.
trying to do it. But yeah, now that I'm actually going,
Yeah.
exciting.
Jeez. It's awesome. Seems like this podcast attracts a lot of law students.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you're doing that.
Because like we got Corday, we got Brooke McLean, and she's the episode with her is getting released next Sunday.
Tune in.
Yeah. And then there's you. Yeah, dude. What do you
need some med students, dude.
Yeah, I need some med
master's students and PhD students.
I got some. Yeah, no, I had a couple master students. They were cool. But yeah, man, it's crazy to just like drop that, oh, I'm a master student or like I'm studying for the law. Like within like a Rocky cutscene, right? Or
like the
a
movie?
scene. Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
It shows like just the 30 seconds, right? Of them training just so hard. But like realistically, it's like days on end of like coming back and they're bored and they're probably having small talk and there's days you don't want to go. And then when I'm talking to someone who has like a very difficult kind of journey or goal, whether it be like law school, med school, like they just say it to you, right? But in my head, I'm thinking of like all the scenes of them like not wanting to study for 4 hours
all the
and
Rocky
like
moments.
all the Rocky moments.
Where they're running around Philadelphia.
Yeah. No. Like when they talk about it, it's just the 30 seconds,
yeah,
right? But like realistically, it's actually like this whole big thing. Their life, they're pouring their life, like soul into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the structure of it.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are like in the programs right now are definitely grinding like crazy.
Mm-hmm. I love people that just set a lot of high goals for themselves and actually, create a structure for it and go out and do it, right? Because so many people just say things and they don't actually do it.
Well, you told me one time, or well, you told me this a couple times, and I really always think about it, is that like when you, and that's part of the reason why I didn't want to talk about like applying to law school and stuff, is because you said that when you talk about doing something to other people, you get the same dopamine as if you did it and then talked about it with the people. Like you still get the dopamine without actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
So you still feel good about it, and then you might be less motivated to actually do it.
Yeah. Talking about the thing and doing the thing vie for the same resources. So allocate your energy properly. I've met so many people that do that, man. Like whether it be like wanting to get fit or like marathon or like studying. And I did that myself so many years.
Well, it's really, everybody does it to an extent.
Yeah. And like everybody's already clapping for you, right? Everybody's already going, yeah, like you can do it, right? It's like you've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like in my head, oh, do I really need to do it anymore? Right. And then I took a social influence class and it actually says that, oh, if you tell people, then you're kind of locked in for it. Like you need to be able to do it or else there's a lot of shame that comes after, which I do agree as well. And there's so many like conflicting evidence, whether it be like diet, whether it be exercise. And so the one thing that I've realized is you just have to do what's best for you. Right? Because like the early bird gets the worm, but the worm gets eaten. The early worm gets eaten by the bird. The late owl gets the mouse, but then the first mouse gets eaten by the owl. You know what I mean? Like you have to do what's best for you, because there's all these things where people tell you to, like Jocko Willink, like David Goggins tell you to like wake up early and do the things that are tough, but that may not necessarily work out for you. Right? Like you could study for 8 hours because maybe that's what works out for your friend, but maybe that doesn't have good outcomes. And I learned that from time to time again, where somebody will tell me, oh yeah, this beverage or this food, this schedule will work for you. But then I realize, oh, it's not until I actually try it and it does work or if it doesn't. So
Yeah, it's not one size fits all. That makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
the like routines and activities and products and stuff, like there might be trends, but everybody has their own individual like likes and how they function best. So
Yeah. I know you're pretty you've gotten pretty far. You got your degree now, going on to law school. And on top of that, you were part of a frat upholding jobs as well and still maintaining our friendship, which I'm greatly thankful for.
Of course.
And I reflected on this and I'm like, wow, Adri does a lot. So what works for you? What are the kind of the key takeaways onto the journey?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. This is definitely not going to work for everyone, but for me, it's like obligating myself to do stuff. That's how I get stuff done, is if like I have to do it. Like if you have to attend this meeting, or like you have to like, you've agreed to hang out with this person, or you've taken this course, so therefore you've agreed to take all these tests and stuff, and then you just have to study for them. That's how I get stuff done, is you just like be like, okay, well, this is a obligation now that it's signed up for, so you have to do it.
Yeah. Like that self-commitment. Like
Yeah. So it's like there will be negative consequences if this is not done properly or done on time or something. So then that's how I get stuff done.
Yeah.
Or,
I don't know about you, but anytime I make commitments, like I pack my calendar, there's always that bit of dread. I'm like, oh man, I have to hang out with this person. Oh, I have to study. I have to do this. And then usually if I do it after, I feel so much better. Like, I don't know. And I've talked to so many people about it, and it seems to be like it's common. Right? But I guess I've tried to like reframe that too, of I get to do it rather than I have to. Right?
that's definitely a good mindset of the a get to thing versus a have to thing.
Yeah. But you don't experience dread?
No, I do experience. It depends what it is. Like if it's a fun thing, like generally if I'm hanging out or like doing some fun activity, I'm like excited to do it. Sometimes if it's like early in the morning, I kind of am, no matter what it is, there's a little bit of dread. And obviously with work things and more other commitments, sometimes there's dread. But yeah, generally it's just because I feel like you just feel good after doing something rather than just like sitting at home not doing anything. Like you've accomplished something, whether it's hanging out with someone, studying, going to the gym, playing a sport, or taking a test.
What do you think of the benefits of hanging out with people? Because it's like, it's all subjective, right? You don't really get much out of it in the sense where when you're working, you get money, right? When you go to the gym, you're getting, there's observable metrics. Now, how do you view kind of scheduling time to hang out with people?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it's just like a enjoyment / dopamine thing. And I would disagree with you that there aren't some metrics that you can judge it by. Maybe not necessarily physical, but like, for example, like a good like 30% of the people that go to Millennium and Gark. So like every time we're together, this is just an example, but every time we're together, you introduce me to like a couple new people, whether it's through however you know them. So that's like an observable metric, meeting new people, hanging with friends. You might get like new opportunities or go to new like experiences that you might not have done on your own. So, and that doesn't happen every time you hang out with friends, but I think, and that's not the only benefit, but I do think that's an observable metric. And then on the other side, it's just, as I mentioned, just like an enjoyment thing, and you deepen your connection with them in whether it's like a deep way or it's kind of just like, I think you can deepen your connection with somebody and it's not necessarily like a super emotional revealing thing. I think it could be like you deepen connection in a lighthearted way where you guys are able to like joke, or like, you ever have that where you like have a good joke around session with somebody, and then you're like able to like you're a bit more comfortable to joke around with them in the future and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think of small talk?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but I don't know. I think it definitely serves a purpose. I think it's necessary in human conversation. I don't like when people are just like, fuck the small talk. I want to talk. Like, that's not realistic. You need to, even with like your closest friends and family, you need to have a little bit of small talk sometimes. Just like, can't just be like a deep emotional or like intense laugh. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it helps to have like a little bit of a low effort conversation.
Yeah. I used to be really against small talk, but then I
know,
realized
I
that I
know.
did it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I used to be like, yeah, small talk's not for me. But then I realized that it's necessary for you to build rapport and to not take things so seriously. Because I've gotten to the point at times where you just think of things too deeply. Like I'll be like standing on the sidewalk, and I'll just think of, oh, death, it comes for all of us. That's why I need faith. That's why I need connections. That's the meaning of life. Which has, if you just kind of chill out and just go, yeah, I'm seeing Adri in a bit.
Mhm.
It's gonna be fun. All right, I'm walking right now, preparing stuff. I don't need to think so deeply. I think that's partly what makes people go insane too, is like wanting to be deep all the time, which kind of, people say, oh, you take life too seriously. I don't. My family they were saying that to me at times. But yeah, I've been learned to kind of make jokes.
But you've always made jokes.
Yeah, but like, actually do it more and more and less about the serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. What are you up to today?
Well, I'm here. Then I'll probably go home, chill out for a little bit, have some coffee. Gonna go pick up a prescription, go to the gym, and probably go to the game downtown with some friends. Go to the mosh pit.
Nice.
You do anything after going to the gym?
No. Maybe I'll hit the sauna. Maybe go for a run. It's nice outside.
With Josh.
Yeah. I don't know if Josh wants to go in the sauna too, but
how long of a run are you gonna go for?
Maybe a little 10K. I don't know.
10K. Little 10K.
Yeah. I think it's not the heart that I'm worried about these days. It's more the my knees. Like
I've had knee problems the last 6 months too.
Yeah, it's age, man. We're getting old.
So, do you think you're gonna go hard this summer again with running? Like, do you think you're gonna try and do the outdoor one? What was it? Is it 124?
Survivor Fest.
Is it, how many K is
20,
it?
It's not. It's no specific distance. It's 24-hour run for my first run.
Yes,
and then
but there's like a certain number you're trying to get to, right?
100 miles.
Oh, 100 miles. Yeah, because then it's like, because I camped out there with you, or well, not you left.
No, that's a different event. That one's just 100 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one I'm doing in a couple of weeks, which
I didn't know it was coming up in a couple. Where is that the one in like Banff or
Sherwood Park? Yeah, this is like a 24-hour run. It's called Survivor Fest, and you start at like 8 a.m. and then you just go for as long as you can for 24 hours, and you could sleep at night. Like you could go home.
So is this replacing the one that you did individually last year? Like, you remember when you just ran around Sherwood Park on your own thing and it wasn't an event?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing this, it's called Survivor Fest, and it's in Sherwood Park. So is it like outside? Or I mean, obviously that's outside, but like, is it like in Sherwood Park, or is it just near Sherwood Park?
It's in Sherwood Park. And then I'll be running it with the guy I met last year. You met his friends. I think you might have met him too. When we were all with Ethan and Ryan.
Okay.
Like playing. Yeah, it was the guy that I was running with. He'll be running Survivor Fest with me.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, nice. I love him.
How many people are doing it?
Like maybe 100 plus, something like that. It's not that big, but it's dope. There's like a 6-hour, 12-hour event.
What part of Sherwood Park? All of Sherwood Park?
I think there's 2 tracks. One of the tracks, I think it's either like the Beth Facey track or like the other one. Forget what it's called. But
you're gonna be staring at the same thing all day.
Yeah, loops.
Yeah,
but I'd kind of like that, because then I can just text people and be like, hey, come out. I like it when people show up, and it gives me that boost of just
And I guess
connection.
that would be good because then like if you're just on loops, then like I could come and run like 10 loops with you, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, be nice. Or like you could even, before work, after work, something like that. No excuses. I ran into Noah at the gym and I told him, hey, you got no excuses. You have to show up.
have you been training a lot?
Nothing that is out of my ordinary. So no, not for this.
Okay.
But I've been working out and I've been doing 200 floors. But yeah, I'm gonna be really messed up.
I know. The 2 times I've seen you run those hundreds, you were messed up.
Yeah, I think for ultras, man, I've kind of just can't really train for it. You can just like think of like your house being attacked by like a bulldozer, or like a wrecking ball, and your job is to just armor that house with the defenses, right? To make sure like damage will be done, but you have to make sure to mitigate the damage as much as possible.
Okay, yeah.
Versus like training for marathon and sport, like you want to be able to like go on offense, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you'll be messed up like either way.
Mm-hmm.
But like running a bunch of long distances won't help you armor your defenses.
No, I understand. For like the marathon and sports, you're training because you're training to be able to do it. But with an ultra, there's no way that you can really do it without getting damage. You're just limiting the damage.
Yes.
Yeah. But with a marathon, you're training to be able to do it without getting too much damage.
Yeah. And like get to a certain time. Like it depends on your goals too. Mm-hmm. Like, of course, you want to increase your VO2 max. You want to be able to increase your endurance. And there's like different ways for it. But this is just how I've gone about it with the lack of distance training that I do. I like dropping 50K in a day, which I have done. It's like, it's still hard on the body.
Well, that's more than a marathon's 42, right?
Yeah. And then like, I don't know, progressively overloading that, it seems I've done that and it's just doesn't seem to bode well.
No, I know what you mean, where it's like I can understand what you mean. I don't know what you mean personally, but I could see how it would be like if you run 50K, it's not like next weekend you can't really go run 55. Like that's not realistic to do like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also not to mention how long that takes.
Yeah. It's a lot of it's mindset too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm no pro, so I like there's
but
other.
But I will be a pro.
But there are other athletes out there that do put in like the work, and they do put in like 80, 90K prior to the 100K or 100 miler that they're doing. But yeah, I mean, just from what a lot of people do too, and this is what works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I was also gonna mention like me asking about your day, which is like, would you'd consider that small talk too, right? What are you doing today? What are you doing on the weekend?
I would say that's small talk.
I think I've had this revelation where it's actually really, really long term, because you
can stalk them, because then you know where they're going to go.
Know where they live. No, you can
really rob them because they know it won't be. I'm sorry.
You witness just what a successful person is up to, or if they're not a successful person, what they're up to. You know what I mean? Like you, for example, like I respect you. You're a person that I admire, that you inspire me. What are you doing on the weekend? Like usually you'll be like, oh, if it's like a Mother's Day, you buy presents for your mom, you do things for your friends, you show up, you game a little bit. And I take that into account. I crunch the numbers and I'm like, maybe I should do things similar to that. You know what I mean? And then I'll ask my other friend and they'll do a similar thing. I'm like, oh wait, they're both successful. It'll be different activities, but there's so many similarities, right? And then when you go to the gym, it's like, oh, what's everyone doing? Oh, this guy's injured because he just doesn't stretch. And there's all these like things, and you don't really put that to conscious thought, but just asking about what people are doing reveals what you can do and what you can't do, right? And what works and what doesn't. And it kind of goes and supports the the saying of you are the product of the 5 closest people in your circle, right?
Mm.
But I'd say I'd even go further, and you are the product of kind of all the interactions that you have by asking about their day.
Yeah, no, I agree that they all definitely play somewhat of an influence because, of course, everyone's naturally going to compare their day to somebody else's day. Just
Yeah. And I've retracted on the I know in this podcast I've changed my mind on so many things, right? So I bet you once I become bigger than Joe Rogan, people are gonna clip me and be like, "Oh, this contradicts with it." But yes, that's the point of living.
But do it, clip him, and then don't give him any of the ad revenue after you.
But yeah, okay. I used to think that comparison was like the worst thing that you can do, and it like sapped your energy and it ruined you and it made you look at life with a negative lens. But now I think it's actually extremely important because it provides a barometer as to who you are, how you're doing, and what works and what doesn't. And I'd only add that if you let it take away from who you are by just looking at someone closely and letting what their achievements do it, by letting their achievements dictate who you are, that's bad. By just going, hey, like this person is really athletic. What are they doing? I'm gonna try to be like that. And you're comparing, right? Or you're on social media. Like, don't do it too much, but what are they on vacation or working hard or what kind of businesses they've got? So it is important, and it's the way we go about things. And it's how to know you're doing well. Like, how are you supposed to know you have a good energy level if you don't know what other people are feeling? You know?
No, I know what you mean. Where that's a good barometer, or the word barometer is good for just like making not overly comparing yourself to people, but just make sure you're staying on track in some ways. Like you shouldn't have the exact same life, shouldn't copy what everybody else is doing exactly, but making sure you're not straying too far off the path. I think that when you said social media, you should be careful comparing yourself to people on social media because that is not always an accurate representation of somebody. Sometimes it is an accurate representation of somebody, but like sometimes and oftentimes it is the best aspects of somebody versus their lower aspects. So I think it can be very helpful to compare yourself, especially to like people who you know in person and people you're a bit closer to, in a good way. Compare yourself, because then you'd be like, okay, I actually know how this person functions a bit more. I know this person isn't BSing me about their business like attributes or numbers at the gym or how active they are, how social they are. They're not just like fronting with it. I actually believe this them on these things, so you can compare / model yourself / take aspects from that person.
Yeah.
And do that with like everyone you know. So then you can kind of formulate yourself, as you say, from the people around you, but with some of your own aspects, and then take your own path.
Yeah. It's yeah, guys, keep comparing yourself to people that you know.
Do it nonstop.
Nonstop. Yeah, dude. Before we go on a break, should I mention my psychedelic trip, or is that short term?
It might be a little short term, but you should still mention it.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm a big advocate of it. I
know.
I was on a gram like on the weekend, like 4 nights ago.
You ripped a gram.
Yeah, I ripped a gram. I just felt like I was in a great place. A lot of
A gram of what for the viewers?
it's called penis envy. That's the strain.
What?
It's called penis envy. Yeah, it's like magic mushrooms. Yeah, but yeah, dude, it was a really really good experience. Weekend. Yeah, this was I think Friday or Saturday, something like that. Yeah, and I just felt so much love for
penises,
for penis, for the people, for yes, penis. No, yeah, I don't know what it was, man, but I just felt so much gratitude. Like I felt so much empathy for my family and friends, like actually internalized it. And by no means am I suggesting to people to take it, because certainly I've been in bad trips.
Did you take it here
Yeah.
at the house? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. My just after dinner, just popped one
By yourself?
by myself. Yeah. Yeah. Which I feel so much gratitude and so much love, and I actually internalized it. And I was looking in the mirror and I was like smiling at myself, and all the silver linings, all the bad things, I saw the silver lining. Like people say, oh, everything happens for a reason. And I've talked to so many people about that. And like, yes, you can say that, oh, why does this person get this disease? They didn't do anything wrong. Why do good people die? But you don't have the answers for everything, I'd say. But like in my life, like usually there are events that have happened, which, at the time I didn't really know if there was any real escape or good meaning for it. But then in retrospect, I get to see kind of the beauty of it. I don't know. It's all very spiritual. It's all very internal, but I came out of it a better person. Like more understanding, like more
Empathetic.
Yeah, like I think that's also why I kind of went ham at the gym the day after. Like I
kind of sweated out.
went ham as in I was more friendly. Like I was a lot more vibrant.
Okay.
There's this guy that told me to fuck off. I don't know if I told you. This guy, like Bryce Kiriak and I were at
you've told me this story many times.
I was standing on the platform when he told me to.
We've joked about this many times.
Yeah, he told me to fuck off, but then I saw him today,
and you told him to fuck off.
Yes, I kind of even everything out. He was setting up his. He was trying to film his workout.
Yeah,
and I looked at him and I'm like,
walked right in front of the camera.
Walked just to disrespect him. I said, hey man, if you need help, just let me know. Like I'll. Yeah, I can understand the difficulty of recording, by yourself.
And what did he say?
So yeah, for sure, man. Thanks. And they give him a smile, and I felt really good. And then there was this other the ginger girl I was talking to you about that was kind of gave me one word answers that was super disrespectful, and I took it badly, and I said hi to her again that day, and it was like really friendly. Like I was
okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And
making connections.
And that day, that was the day I asked Juan's cousin, which I'm like, I think I don't want to say it's the results of that trip, but I don't know. I just felt a lot more vibrant, or maybe it was just like a catalyst. I don't know. But yeah. Just thought I'd mention that. It was
that's good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. Really, really cool experience. Which, yeah.
Well, it seems to have a very positive outcome, during and after, which is good. I feel like that's the point.
Yeah, which I think it goes to show just how much our minds really play into our livelihood. I don't know. I've listened to a ton of podcasts. Like I'd listen to 2 to 3 hours worth of podcasts pretty much every day.
Damn. That's a lot.
That
is a lot.
Because I guess it forms the bulk of my workouts too. Because as I'm working out, it's just as I'm driving, as I'm eating.
You just hear Huberman talking.
Huberman, Chris Williamson, the number one. And then Huberman and Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Mel Robbins. Yeah. I get to hear these ultra successful people talk about their days, and a lot of them, from the way they describe it, are the same as me. I think Goggins talked about it. He met Michael Jordan the one time.
Okay.
And he wrote about it in his book, and he looked at him, a person that he's idolized and a person that people all around just look up to, looked at him, and he you realize he was just human, you know, which is a lot what we forget. We think that like our idols, like these ultra successful people, these ultra runners, celebrities, PhDs with all these achievements are somehow so far out of reach, but they're just people. You know, they want to be loved. They feel emotion. They can feel rejected. They feel angry. They feel happy. It's like I always forget that, and I've realized that oh wow, they're just people. You know, like yes, they've done something that is out of ordinary and that like we value as a society, but they're just people. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I is an interesting perspective, just like meeting your idols, but then not necessarily like having them come off the pedestal, but also understanding that they are just like humans and every human has flaws and they're not the perfect individual
Yeah.
that maybe everyone thought they were, or that you thought they were, looking up to them.
Yeah. Like their level of happiness isn't more than yours, right?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. Which a lot of people think otherwise.
That's a really like profound thing, actually, is that if ultimately every human just wants their own happiness or wants happiness, that just because somebody you look up to, there is no guarantee in any way that they're happier than you are.
Yeah. Because like I'm thinking of all the times and when I was like a child, just when I got a new toy and I was like jumping up and down, just feeling euphoric. Or when I was, in grade 7 when I got my first kiss or something, or when I really needed to pee and there was no washroom and I was running around, I felt finally relieved. I it's just another person experiencing that, or me experiencing that now, right? Isn't more or less. It was just
yeah.
Like it wasn't like I'm happier now than I was when I was 7. Dude, if in fact I'm the same. Am I really that boring, Adri? This guy's yawning.
No, I'm sorry. I seriously got a good sleep last night and I woke up. I'm sorry. I'm tired in the mornings. I had coffee.
That's fair. I'm offended.
No.
Yeah.
Good, you should be. It's because you're really
Yeah, dude. I'm thankful, man. Thankful for you.
I'm thankful for you too, dude.
They're
good friend.
Good friend. Do you ever get these thoughts of, man, like I can do just one thing and it would just completely destroy the friendship, but you're not going to. It's like those intrusive thoughts where like,
I mean, sure. I think everybody has those intrusive thoughts to some, well, maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of people do.
Like if I just slap this guy really hard for no reason, I'm sure that's probably not even the worst thing you can do, but like for no reason. And then I just stop talking
honestly,
to him.
If you slap me really hard, I think I would probably just like slap you back and then we would still be friends.
Yeah, true. Physical violence between us probably wouldn't be like a big kind of red flag,
Maybe if you like threw a 45-pound plate at my foot, like really, really hard and like broke my foot, I might.
True. And you had to get surgery.
Yeah. Like even if you like punch me in the face, I would probably just punch you back. And then, but if you like seriously hurt me, then maybe.
But then again, like why would I punch you in the face?
I don't know like why we're talking about that.
Like what would be your beer, like the last straw, like that would be, but I don't think we'd ever gotten to that point, like ever.
No, what do you mean? We've never even come close to that.
I think the only thing I remember was just when I corrected your form and the front laterals.
Oh yeah, well
but that wasn't even like a fight. That was like a little thing.
No, you and I argued about like money one time, like years ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. We argued about. Did we ever argue about politics?
No, never.
Yeah.
No. Well, because that's not personal. I think we argued about money one time and it was like personal, and then
I don't remember.
I think that was a long time ago. That was like 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Man, it's crazy. Hey, all these different iterations. What, grade 12, grade 11? We met in bio 20, was it? Bio 20. Like I know
No, it was
you
grade 10. It was second semester, grade 10.
Yeah. And then
Well,
we
that
just
was when we met in grade 7, but
we didn't really talk much.
no.
I just remember you pissing off the teachers. Like, were you trying to piss them off, man?
No, dude. I was just like a hyperactive child who didn't know when to not talk.
You went ham, man.
I didn't piss all the Mr. Boyne liked me.
Yeah, but you did tip your chair so many times, though.
Yeah.
Like for those of you,
that was not I didn't do that to piss them off. I just like doing that.
Yeah, true. And then wait, you loved to write with a pen, and then who kept telling you to write with a pencil?
You remember more about this than I do, honestly.
Yeah. And then I remember you kept saying shots fired.
Yeah, I did say
and
that.
Then everybody just started saying that too.
Well, I didn't come up with that. Somebody, it was kind of a saying, and then I said it just a lot even when it didn't make sense. It was.
And then everybody just attributed that to you.
That was a real like middle school thing. That was funny. That was funny looking back on it.
That was really funny. That was
very
good.
Corny in the moment, but it's funny looking back on it.
That's so funny. Yeah, dude. It's crazy to think of how many times I've talked about like elementary, middle school, high school to people that I've gone to like who were in the same grade as me that time, or even the same school. It's like a big bonding point.
Well, and you and I were both in the same grade 7 and grade 8 class, 7P and 8S.
Yeah. It's yeah. Still remember the Aztecs. That was a really the Aztecs when we made those videos with the Smith, remember?
The Aztecs, yeah.
Aztecs? Okay, I pronounced it Aztecs. Aztecs.
Or maybe I'm okay. Wait, what did we make in those videos?
You don't remember?
No. Were we in the same group?
No, we weren't in the same group. We made our own individual videos.
Oh, I do remember the videos. Yes, I made mine with Noah.
Yeah, I made mine with Jeff, and I was like taking my heart out, like depicting the sacrifice. People thought it was funny.
Yeah, I do remember making those videos. Yeah, because I made a real estate ad for the temple.
Oh, really?
Because Noah was in the other class, so I made like a real estate ad. That was probably of all the creative things I've done in my life, that was probably the one I was the most pleased with. I do remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude. The Aztecs, they were barbaric, hey? They were, what? Like they took out, like they offered their hearts to their gods. Like it was a good thing that the Spanish came and
massacred them,
tried to convert them, to change their ways, because they were like taking people from different tribes and just like making sport out of them. Do you remember?
Well, I think that's like one aspect of the culture.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being judgy with the Aztecs. They're not around anymore though.
Yeah, there's probably
like nobody's gonna be watching this with true. Being Aztec heritage
culture
and be offended.
I'm
just
trying to offend all the Aztecs. I'm gonna report you anyway. No, I'm not.
Dude, let's yeah, man. High school, middle school, elementary, really formative years. Like I wish I was just a lot more present, because I don't think I was actually present. I was just thinking about gaming. I was like, I'd be sitting in class thinking about League, like all the time, like video games, or like when it wasn't that, I'd be thinking about something really, really dumb, or just like gaming all the time under my desk, or like snapping.
I had that a little bit. Like I was definitely like very into like Battlefield and Destiny in those grade 7 and 8 years.
I think that's an understatement. Or Clash Royale, you in class?
Oh, that was in grade 12. Although
this guy was just screaming at the top of his lungs when he lost.
That is not true at all. In what grade?
I don't know. I just heard some stories. You're
making that up, bro.
You would freak out in class after defeats.
It's because I played Bryce one time, and that was the one time that.
Which Bryce?
Bone. I know exactly what story you're talking about. That was one singular time in calculus.
Was it one time?
Yes, it was one time. expanding that.
That's so
No, it's because
funny.
in grade 12, there were in like English, there was like 10 of us in one class that were all in the same Clash Royale clan. So
Yeah.
that's what we would just do is we just play like duos, like 2v2 Clash Royale, all class in the class.
Jeez. Yeah, dude, how did we ever graduate, man? That was because how did the teachers let us get away with that? Like, I don't.
I don't know. I guess because it was probably, and also we watched a lot of movies in that class. So I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, I hear a lot of the kids that we went to school with are teachers now. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like
Same.
Philip. Like,
Yeah.
who else is a teacher?
Here, there's like Elizabeth. I don't think she's graduated education, but
Elizabeth
something.
who?
I can't say the last name.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, no last names.
No last names. Yeah. What else is teacher? A lot of them. There's all these like faces that come up. I just kind of forget the name. But yeah, these same kids, right? Not the ones that I mentioned, but right? Like not just, or maybe, but they'd be like passed out in like the front of someone's lawn at times, you know? Like they same like at parties, you know?
Okay.
It's just crazy to think. Like some of them are actually like going on to be, you know, like accountants and
I mean,
in med school.
that's kind of what everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody, but like, I don't know. I mean, people do crazy stuff as kids and then kind of grow up. Like a lot of people do that.
Yeah, true. But yeah. Man.
I still can't believe you said that about yelling in class. That's not true.
You did yell in class a lot, man. Not
Yeah,
just
and
from
like grade
not
7.
just from games.
Yeah,
okay.
and like when I would talk a lot, like in like grade 7,
and also in uni. Jack can attest to this.
I would never yell.
You would talk really loud.
That's just because I'm a loud talker. Like that's there's a difference between just like talking loudly and like exclaiming. I'm just like a loud talker. So
That's fair.
I would talk to Jack in class. I will admit that. But
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I still remember Jack would message me that you stood him up.
I did skip that class a lot. In my last semester, I skipped probably more classes than I'd skipped like throughout all the rest of university to put together.
Yeah, dude.
Which still wasn't a ton. I still went to most of my classes, but it was, yeah.
Well, you got your degree. Now
did.
you're in law, so you did something right.
I guess, but yeah. Jack, I don't think Jack liked it when I wouldn't show up. Although sometimes he wouldn't show up too. Like I don't think he would say about the parts where he stood me up. I'm sure he wouldn't text you.
True. Yeah.
You only get the one side of that.
That's true. There's two sides of the story. It's funny. It's crazy how you hear one story from a person, right? And it's like the complete opposite as to what the other person says on that other side. And like people love that, man. People feed off of that. And I think I always thought that after elementary, after like just high school, that there'd be no drama anymore. Because it's just like, why do people spend time caring about, you know, what Brittany did or what Sarah or what, you know, Roderick or John did on the weekend or Greg, you know? Dar the Wimpy kid. But yeah, but what I've realized is, dude, there are no grown-ups. You know, we're all kids. Like,
Everyone does care about some level of drama.
I try not to insert myself in drama, but sometimes you just overhear certain stuff and somebody tells you about someone, you gotta keep asking questions like, oh really? Like, what did John do? Like, why did they break up? Oh, really? He caused a scene. Oh, was this something you expected? And it's like you hear that from the gym and you hear that, you know, in the corporate setting and you hear that in construction, like 40, 50-year-olds. Like,
You're right. Yeah. like middle-aged people, old people caring about
Yeah.
drama. It never goes away.
It never does. No. But
I think sometimes you might be in situations that just have less drama, but people never stop caring about it. Like if you put any age of people back in high school, there would still be just as crazy drama.
yeah, that's true. What if they made high school extend to like you're 30? Could you imagine?
It's so crazy.
That'd be crazy. Yeah. 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 And there's so many dramatic people, man, that I've met, and like even the grown up companies that I've been in, like it'd be like a 50-year-old woman,
Mm-hmm.
like talking about kind of like talking shit about the person that she is right next to.
Oh,
within-
yeah. Well,
yeah.
companies are arguably even worse for drama than high school, I would think, because high school, you're running around a lot. Like you're in a bunch of different classes with a bunch of different people. You're hanging out with your friends. You're hanging out. The people who you see the most of the time are the people who you want to see most of the time. And also you're only in a class for like 4 or 5 months. So you're only sitting with you're in this group of people in this class with the teacher for this shorter period of time. But you're working with the same few, like closely 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, however many it is. It's not that many people who you work with closely, and you're with them all the time, like for years potentially. So like work drama, and also they're not necessarily people who you like or dislike. Like they could be some of your best friends, or they could be somebody who you would just never speak to in real life, like in outside of work, but you have to be with this person. So that's going to breed crazy drama.
Yeah. Do you ever have you ever been in a company where somebody gets fired and it's all what everybody's talking about in the day?
Yeah, I think at Joey's one time, a guy got fired, and it wasn't like everyone was talking about, but Jack and I talked about it a lot.
Yeah. I just remember at the company that I was in, it would happen once every like 4 months. And that's everybody's like, have you
Yeah,
heard?
of course.
Have you heard? I'm
I
like,
hear that John got fired.
yeah. Why? Oh, yeah, I think it was just shop showing
was
up to work or he was, like-
Drinking.
yeah, I know. Really? What was he drinking? Pure. He can't be drinking vodka at work. On the breath, he got caught. It's funny. Really? In his backpack? You think he was framed? Like stuff like that,
I
man.
bet it was Andrew. He snuck that bottle of vodka.
I think it was fucking Andrews. Yeah, that motherfucker. Yeah, dude, it's so funny. Like it's all fun and games too, but it's like it's funny the types of questions that people ask, or like how curious people are. Like the most quiet person will want to know.
Mm-hmm.
The most
Everybody cares, no matter how active or like people who don't like appear to be super involved in the drama still are interested in it.
Yeah, just nuts. Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is we're an hour and 15 in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good pod.
All right, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
What are you working out with Josh after? What
We're gonna be-
muscle group?
doing chest and triceps.
Nice. That's what I'm gonna do too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You said you're gonna go at 12 as well?
Yeah, but I might go home. Like I might go at like 12:30 or something.
Okay.
Gark.
Gark?
Yeah.
Come to Millennium.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not gonna intrude on your guys' workout.
Don't intrude, but you can work out around
No,
us.
but I might go to Gark, closer to my house. But I thought you were gonna come to Gark after and come to the sauna.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that.
Mhm.
But that's still maybe.
Maybe.
You know, that's still
Maybe.
like a bonus. But
Mhm.
yeah, dude, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Gosh. Yeah, do you like the like just the conversation, just sit down and just talk about whatever pops up in our minds?
I enjoy it. I mean, that's what we usually do when there's no cameras on anyway. So
Yeah, true.
I mean, well, how do you think it turns out as
Good. I mean, I
recorded
really-
format?
yeah, usually I have structure. Like you can with my other episodes, I have an iPad and I'm going through everything, and it ends after the first question and then like I'll do a little bit after that,
Yeah,
and
freestyle.
it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, usually it follows kind of the. I don't do an intro anymore, so I just go to the first topic, then second topic, third topic, and then yeah, a little break in between. Then after that, it's just like, hey, welcome, and then that's it.
Mhm.
But here, there's no structure, which is actually what Joe Rogan does, and he's the number one podcaster in the world.
Mhm.
I think that's what most of the podcasters do. But the way I see it is, I like to have the structure, and I like to give people the questions after, so they know what to expect. Because a lot of these people, it's their first time on a podcast, and when I don't have the structure, a lot of people will stumble on their words and they'll feel really nervous, and they feel unprepared. And I think what I've noticed too is people think they're talking about a thing they've already said if there's no structure, and they think that what they're saying has no kind of significance. I think the structure provides them like a good reliable metric to go, oh, okay, we're in this process. Like they feel like they're getting somewhere, versus if you just sit down, it's like, what did we even talk about 30 minutes ago?
Mhm. Yeah, they're worried they're repeating themselves, or
Yeah.
it's not as related.
Yeah. So maybe I'll take it out. Maybe I
No,
won't.
I think it's a good format, especially when you're starting off. Because with Joe Rogan, I think there's a bit of a difference, because generally Joe Rogan has guests of like that have like notoriety,
Mhm.
like they're like famous to some degree, and they're known for whatever, like, I don't know, science or technology or conspiracy theories or comedy or whatever they're known for. So that's a good basis for them to go off of. And also they're people that are generally in the media to some degree, so they're good at having the more like open conversations and kind of can talk about like what they're known for and other things like that. I think it helps with your guests who are much less experienced talking on camera,
Yeah.
that you give them a bit more of a format and guidelines for how things are going to go out, so they're able to talk more about what they initially wanted to talk about when they're coming on.
Yeah. I always ask, before people come on, I ask, how would you like me to introduce you? Which provides a guideline for what the questions I'm going to ask. And then for the 3 passions. So if I can get if I ask you who Adri is, what would you tell me? Like if people tell me, oh, I don't really need an intro. I'm like, you decide for me. I'm like, okay, no. Like if you were asked who Adri is, what would you tell that person? And then what is that person's passion about?
Mm.
And usually that gives a good indicator as to who that person is and what they believe in. Like 3 is a big, like that's 30 minutes for each topic,
Yeah,
give or take.
those are, yeah, because presumably they'll have each, you can expand on each.
Yeah, 3 cores.
Mhm.
And that,
Like an inside out.
yeah, that gives someone like a holistic kind of view, or it's a good, if somebody wants to get to know someone, the 3 things that pop up in their head about who they are, that's who that person is.
Mhm.
Like and I tell the guests like how it could be as general or specific as possible. Like if you're really passionate about your toast in the morning and you can have a conversation with you for 30 minutes.
Honestly, you could definitely do that. Yeah.
Or as general as like an idea, like rocks, or discipline, or, the love you have for your dog.
Fire.
Fire, like whoa.
Ice.
Yeah. Wind.
Earth.
Like,
Okay, sorry.
Last Airbender. I would totally have that. And I just think it's so fascinating to witness, like, whoa, like you had all these different life experiences, all these different topics that you could have chosen from who you are, yet you chose these 3 topics.
That's a good point. Yeah. Clearly they speak to you if you have chose those 3 out of everything.
And then the intro, like that you tie the intro with the topics that they choose. So if they're like a university student and they're also an athlete, and then they chose the love for their dog as the first topic. You'd think that it would be like uni or something, like how they introduce themselves. You could tie that with like, yeah, so as a university student and an athlete, how do you have time for your dog? What makes the dog so special in your life? And then, yeah, you just tie it all in, which is something that I've learned. But yeah, thanks for coming on the long-term podcast,
I appreciate it, bro. It's good to be back on. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited to listen to these when we're in our 30s.
I know, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like
sit down at a night and just listen to one and see what we had to say in our 20s. Yeah.
I wish I started doing this in high school, man. Imagine like the
amount of hundreds of hours we spent talking about random stuff.
Yeah. Like even like the different guests in high school too. I think
that would be crazy.
I think I could have pulled it off. I would think I would have gotten like the first year if I started this in
grade
ABJ.
10 or 11. That would have been, you would have had some crazy guests. Although you were a very different person back then.
I probably wouldn't be talking about the things that I talk about right now.
Like, that's what I always have people like talking to me about, like coming up to me like, oh wow, Avin's like so impressive in this and this and this, and you are, and I'm really happy to see, because I've been friends with you like throughout the whole thing. I've seen you at very different stages of your life, pursuing different passions and trying to find what you're interested in, and it sticks, and like what you value in a certain. Obviously, you valued like stuff like your family the whole time and stuff, but you've grown a lot, and it's really been cool to see.
That's that means a lot, man. Thank you. You're kind.
And I liked you the whole time. You've been my close friend the whole time. And if you were still that same exact person that I was friends with in grade 10, you'd still be one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you, man. That makes me feel better. It's a lot of changes, hey.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I know we went through some, I know we talked about Red Pill a bunch. We talked about stocks. We talked about, I know Breaking Bad was a big talking point.
We still kind of joke about
it. We still do. I feel like if we could have
we watched El Camino together, and then
yeah.
We could have what if we had a Breaking Bad episode?
Yeah, dude. I'd totally be down. Jesse, with the mind of Walter White.
Yo, Mr. White.
Dude, we should totally have that. Just discuss Breaking Bad.
We just like an episode.
I'd kind of have to study though. We'd have to.
Yeah, I know. I'd have to review
the synopsis, and
you maybe have to put it on like a second channel. That'd be very difficult.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, thank you, man. This is I'm really thankful for the friendship that we have. I continuously think about you, and sometimes I'll just be going about my day, and I'm like, I wonder what Adri's doing right now, and I'll just give you a call.
That is true. I always appreciate your calls.
Because usually I'll just send you a text. That's what I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got an idea from someone where like calling is better.
Oh yeah, I always like calling people.
Yeah,
I enjoy getting phone calls. I enjoy talking on the phone.
And then because the amount of information that you get texting, like back and forth, it can be all condensed into a 1 minute phone call.
Oh yeah, an hour of texting is 1 minute of phone calling.
Yeah,
an hour of texting like back and forth, like every minute can be condensed into a 1 minute phone call.
Yeah. And like the tone of voice too. And then you'd even add FaceTime.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's really, really.
I agree. Calling is underrated.
Yeah. Fulfilling, man. It's, it's like you just get a random phone call and it's like a little bit of friction, right? Especially if you're not used to it. It's like, oh, what are we supposed to talk about? Yeah, just talk about anything.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's trying to suppress his yawn.
No, bro. Why did you...
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, dude.
I've had some guests that have yawn.
I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with you at all. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm just I'm tired all the time. Or I'm sorry.
I get it. No. I'm not. I'm just.
Yes.
It's a joke. It's funny. It's funny.
It is.
But yeah, dude. I gotta work out with Josh here real soon.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the long-term podcast.
I had a great time. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Do you have any last words to the viewers?
Thank you, Avin, for coming on, and have a great day, guys.
Yeah. Bye. And as always, to everyone listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long-term. Adri Plaizier, everyone. Peace.
Yeah. That was good.
Finally.